All right, here is the truth about the cyclical power arrangements in elections, specifically the city of Minneapolis, so that people understand how we got into this mess. Okay. Data I talked about that I just received yesterday, that I made TikToks about at the precinct level, the wards. What happens is Minneapolis elections will release how many voters voted, but they won't put them into categories, which is what I requested. And I have requested actually additional data points that have not been given to me. I went first to the state. The state said, go to the city. I went to the city. The city said, go to the county. I went to the county. And everywhere along the way, I was not given fully what I wanted in terms of who was early voting, who was vouched for versus showed a, like a gas bill. But here's the clever thing. This has been, I tried it first right after the election, and I was told my campaign had to pay for a recount. I said, I don't want a recount. I just want to know data. And I don't just want my data, I want the whole city's. Well, no, we weren't going to give that. So that whole thing at the beginning took 10 days. Now, we have all these months later, and I let it go because then my father died. If you've been paying attention at all, my father died. I decided, is any of this worth it? And then I made requests again, starting about a month ago. So it's been about 30 days before I found the right person to give me the right data that I got. Still only partial lists, okay? So 10 days, 30 days. Do you know how much time that you are actually, by law, allowed to contest an election? 7 days. 7. So if you ask for an investigation into an election, statistically, it has to be within like 2 percentage points. Well, so let me ask you, riddle me this, Batman. You want to come along with me on a little journey of the mind? So let's just say, you've got 5 people, 10 people, 15 people who live in a precinct that support you. That's not that hard to find, right? And then you've got 10 more people who support you that don't even live in the city. This is for entertainment only, okay? Now, under the Minneapolis voucher system, the state of Minnesota voucher system, those 15 people that live there in different precincts, or in the precinct, right, can each vouch for different people. Now, if you do this precinct by precinct on the day of the election, this can add a good, 300 to 400 votes for you, which possibly those people could live in Richfield, they could live in Bloomington, they could live in Hudson, Wisconsin, okay? But they're being vouched for by a legitimate resident. Or let's say you have somebody who lives in a building, a big building, and you get 100 friends who don't live there to change their cell phone address, just their cell phone, because like your cell is just kind of, everyone pays it online anyway. I just paid mine with a click on my Apple Pay, right? Just now, boop, boop, click, click. Let's say you changed your Verizon bill to your friend's address in that building just for just a short time, and you use that bill to verify your address. Again, entertainment purposes only, right? But do you think it's possible? It's just a thought exercise, you guys, that it's possible to get a few hundred votes, maybe even 1,000, to make the election result statistically outside of the investigation window, which you would never be able to prove in less than a week. And then after that, boop, not allowed to contest the election. Not allowed by state law. Gosh, it's a real whodunit, you guys. It's a real, You know, people have been asking me over and over and over and over and over again about fraud. Fraud is a word, is like fraud, right? No one ever, it's like Fraud, the musical. Nobody ever does that, right? If you go ahead, if you don't even know this about me, I don't even know if it's searchable really much anymore on Google, but if you said like Becca Thompson, Minneapolis Public Schools, Becca Thompson, South High, Becca Thompson, KSTP, South High, those are the things that covered me. You'll find that I was trying to express to the district when I was fired without process for whistleblowing of the data manipulation and data suppression inside of South High. Now, others might use the word fraud, but I was just trying to point out how incidents occurred that required by law mandated reporting, and yet, gee shucks, not only did the report that was gotten redacted, sometimes they just would disappear by an administrative override. Now, do we call that fraud? Because what I had actually was a screenshot of the original incident report, because your girl knows people who want to help her. They just don't want to get fired but like I'm willing to risk, right? So they still work in MPS, you guys. So I had a screenshot of the original incident report, and then I had some months later, screenshot of all incidents from like a certain month, and lo and behold, that one was no longer there. And the only way to delete it is an administrative override. All I did is point this out to the school board and the superintendent. And then my principal fired me. And then I went and made it public. Oopies. And then the school board and the superintendent asked me to work at MPS again. And I said, no, thank you. No, thank you. No. But that principal doesn't work there anymore either. Nor do any of the people who were helping him redact. Again, maybe it was just, maybe she's born with it and maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. But this is for entertainment purposes only, you guys. So let's just say, and I'm just riffing here, because I just like to play games. Let's just say, riddle me this, Batman, okay? For entertainment purposes only. That, I don't know, one of the $1 million government funds, or you know what? Let's not even do the $1 million ones that require a vote. Let's do the $175,000 cap that can just get given out by council members. You can just, boop, there you go. $175,000 contract to a non-legal entity. It's not an LLC or a 501c3, C4. Let's just say $175,000 from a council member, DSA. Well, just for fun. Let's just say it comes from a DSA one. Maybe it could be anybody though. It could be anybody. Could be anybody. Goes to a group that there's no oversight because that's, again, by ordinance. 175, you're golden. Nobody follows that money. Nobody looks at it, you guys. $175,000 is like my $1.10 cup of coffee, but actually this coffee was free. You know what I mean? Like the $175,000. So let's just say, again, this is a whodunit. This is like, what if we're just putting together like a Doctor Who episode, Sherlock Holmes, okay? That money then goes to trying to find the real true believers of the communist DSA to be willing to change their Verizon bill to Ward 10, Precinct 6, or Ward 2, Precinct 4, or Ward 12, Precinct 1. I mean, and you know what? What if it's the same people? Because, if you're not being checked and it's day of, you're not being checked. And you only have 7 days. And these are all in different agencies and you are not given names. I mean, this is just for entertainment purposes only, okay, you guys? This is as real as a Marvel movie. see you out there.